shaking, and you feel your heart is breaking. Take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Fearless, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Fearless, we'll take in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
And here I am. I'm just checking sound levels here. They look good. It's Saturday, August 21st. It turned out to be a nice day. It turned out to be sunny. I went for a swim this afternoon, keeping into good shape. And I rushed home to do my podcast. I prepared it all last night and this morning, but trying to get in my, physical exercise is very important. Most of my prospecting I do a lot of prospecting via social media and my blogs, my website. So a good part of the day is when I'm marketing, I'm sitting and then, I'm showing homes. So I have to break up of that. But there are days I'm just marketing. I mean, the part of the real estate business is bringing in more leads and trying to find out where they are and how to get to them. Very important in the real estate industry. And it changes. It seems like every day there's a new way of reaching out to the public. And then you have to learn it, and then and it keeps on changing. And once you master it, there's something new that came aboard, and it's constantly changing. But that's good. It keeps the brain fresh. So the brain is going to work out, and then when I swim, and then once the pool closes, I'll go back to the Y. I put my Y membership on hold for 2 months because I just said I'm just going to do lots of swimming. But that's enough about me. We have a warm week coming up, and I see some good things happening with the market. When I set up my buying clients with listings, I put them in what's called concierge mode. So I have to review them before they're sent out. So I keep tabs on it. So if it's something that it really doesn't meet their requirements, then I won't send it out. So I review it, but I'm seeing every day, and I log into the multiple listing service probably about 3 times a day, and listings are showing up. So I see that change coming in the market where more listings are coming on board, and which is good, because as we're going to talk about today's topic, more young people are buying homes. A lot of buyers were waiting for this market to calm down. And by the way, I don't blame them, okay? I was taught very well by my wife to go coupon shopping. So, and I like going food shopping because my wife will get the store brand. And I like to be adventurous and try different things. But I will look for coupons. And when I'm rung up, I'll find out that I saved like $20, $30. So I cannot fathom, or I find it's mind-boggling that people are paying up to $10,000, and I've heard up to $100,000 above the asking price for a house. I find that, I don't want to say absurd, because people are out there who bought it. I just don't understand. Unless you really needed to move within the last 8 months. And if you did, you had to do what you had to do. But I have a lot of clients who, they would like to move. They'd like to get a bigger house. I have some clients who are renters, and I say, all right, we'll just wait it out a little bit more before I go in. And I completely understand. It hurts me because I'm not making money on my buying side right now. But I completely understand. But I'm seeing more homes. And this is, I've always said in my podcast that I always will be truthful. So I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm seeing it. And I'm going to show an article from the New York Times that will back me up on that. And it's been reprinted with Housing Wire and Inman, which is basically a website for real estate professionals. It was first written up actually by the real estate company called Redfin, and they saw the big change. So it's happening. Is it normal yet? No. But it's getting better. All right. So from going from insanity to still a very strong market for sellers, but not as crazy, if that makes sense. So let's do our little intro, and we'll take it from there. Okay, we're back. And so that's what we're talking about today. Now, just to clarify where it says there are more young people buying homes, there are. Okay, but we're going to find out the big difference is that those young people are in a different age group. In other words, it's somewhere about 4 years older than it was years ago. And that could be a lot of reasons. Let me get out my... There we go. And we don't need my caption now. I could hide my caption. So more young people are buying homes. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So it starts off that there's a common misconception that younger generations aren't interested in home ownership. They are. But a lot of them now, it's almost like what you see with marriages now. Most people, okay, because I'm going to have, oh, you said everybody though. They're not, in my age group, which I would be a baby boomer. You came out of high school. If you weren't going to college, you got married. Once you came out of college, you usually got married somewhere, or you fell in love during college and you got married then. So most people got married in their, let's say from 18 to about 25 years old. But that's moving up now. And, for some good reasons, because a lot of young people want to be more steadfast in their careers. I'll give you a prime example. I don't know if they're watching me now, but I have students. I used to be a high school teacher in Brooklyn, New York. I taught business. Okay, that was on a different planet, a different time period in my life, and they did not meet originally in my class, but the type of class I had where it was was called virtual enterprise, and it wasn't the formal classroom. They had to work in groups in different departments, and they got closer in my class, and they were childhood sweethearts or high school sweethearts, and I kept in touch with them, via Facebook, and they both worked on their college careers, and then their college careers, and then their professional careers. And once they got settled, they got married. They were happily married. They actually invited me to their wedding. I came up from Hampton to go all the way up to Long Island, but I loved it. They wanted me to make a speech, and I did. And they really put everything on hold until they were secure in their professions, which is a good idea. It doesn't always happen like that, and that doesn't work for everybody. Okay, I feel like Dr. Phil right now. That's not going to work for everybody. You can fall in love when and you don't want to wait. Okay, till you get all your degrees, and to each their own. But it seems like there's a trend that a lot of, and I'm going to read in the highlighted section. Historically, millennials have delayed the critical lifestyle choices often linked to buying a first home, including getting married and having children in order to further their education. This is clear in cross-generational comparisons of home ownership rates, which show millennials lagging their generational predecessors. Okay, so they're waiting longer to finally purchase a home because they're getting everything else in order. And again, it's a pretty good idea. Okay, and again, it doesn't work for everybody. So to each their own. Okay, as we say in Italian, and I don't know how to speak Italian, but that's just the way, that's something that we say. So it's partially true that some millennials have waited on home ownership to focus on other things in their lives, and that's impacting certain housing market rentals. The data from the National Association of Realtors indicate that the average of a first-time homebuyer is higher today than it's been in over the past 40 years. And I'm going to move down to the graph so we could easily see the progression of these ages. All right. And so we see, going back to 1981. Was I married by then? No, I got married in actually 83. And I was 28. So this was kind of perfect, That's not when we bought our home. But, then there was a jump up to 30, and then around 91, it went back down to 28. And then from that point on, it's been high up there. The 32s. We had a drop. Well, that's, it's funny. You have this drop here between 2008, 2007, 2008. And that's when we had the real estate boom where everybody was buying and they were getting mortgages left and right. And then we had the burst of that bubble. All right. So it went down to 30, then it climbed back up to 31, to 32. And where we are right now, 2019, 2020, of course, this is not including right now. 2021, the average age of the first-time home buyer is 33. Okay, and that's the average age, right? Because again, you're gonna have some people who are getting their homes at 28. You're gonna have some people who are getting their homes at 36. So that's the average age. So let's move down a little bit more. So what this graph is also showing, this one here, and let me get a little more centered here. Okay. So this is home ownership by age, and now we're seeing more of a jump, okay, in percentage of the ones that are buying the homes are in this age group from under 35 years to 35 to 44 years. The ones that are right now that are not buying as much are 45 to 54 years old and 54 to 64. But we have a big amount here from 65 and older who are buying homes right now. Okay, and just remember that the light blue are your millennials, okay? And here are the older people. So you do see an increase in millennials buying homes, all right? So that's a good thing. And I'm going to stretch this down a little bit more. As the largest generation, millennials' impact on the market is growing as more and more people from that generation reach home buying age. And Generation C isn't far behind either. That means younger generations will likely continue to drive demand in the housing market for years to come. All right. Now, what I added here, well, that article talked about that the millennials are buying homes now, which is good. What's also feeding the market is what I just talked about, where slumming housing slowdown brings bidding wars back to earth. All right. Now, again, and then the article states too, it's not like it's perfect. It's gone to like about they said about 25 people bidding on one property, maybe down to 5 or 6. It's still a little crazy, but not as crazy. Okay, if there were different levels of craziness, it's going down, which is a good thing because buyers need to enter back into the market. All right. Yeah, actually, I took this from Inman, which is again a website geared more for the real estate professional. But then we share a lot of the information with our clients, and we have to say, well, we don't have to say clients, but rather than customers. Okay, let's go here. Seattle-based Redfin, and that's a big real estate company. It's a competition for us. I don't want to go into that right now, but reported Monday that only 60% of their offers its agents wrote in July faced competition from at least one other buyer. Now, 60% is still the majority, right? So that means 40% warrant, but it's not like 80 or 90%. So bringing bidding wars back within the striking distance of where they were in the fall of 2020 before buyer competition started to skyrocket in January. One Redford agent said he's now seeing 5 to 8 offers on a typical home rather than 25 he had grown accustomed to. Initial offers are still above listing price, but only a fraction of that gap now remains, he said. So this is a good thing for people who are buyers who want to enter the market. And I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more here with all this gibberish here. And this is the other good thing, which is going to help, of course, lower the competition. Although inventory remains abnormally low throughout the country, the number of homes for sale has started to slowly tick back up in recent weeks. Zillow records showed that the number of homes for sale rose 3% from May to June, but remained down 42% from their levels of the same time of the year in 2019. Okay? So the inventory levels are picking up, and which means if there are more properties on the market, we don't have to have 25 people bidding on just one house. Okay? And in Basic Economics 101, if you have little inventory or supply and you have a strong demand, then prices are going to go up. But the demand is cooling a little bit, and more homes are coming onto the market. So I believe, I'm not an economist, but and economists believe that prices will begin to level out. Now, we don't know if it's going to go down, and I don't think so, unless is what I talk about every week, if we get in control of the pandemic. And that's the big thing, okay? And I bring that up every time. You probably, if you've been watching me weekly, which I hope you are, we're at a pivotal point, and it could go either way. If we don't get control of this pandemic and numbers go up again and people get sick again, sellers won't be putting their homes on the market, especially if they're living in their homes right now. People who already moved, they have the new house, and they may put their homes on the market, but the ones that are still living there will not, because that's what we had a year ago. All right. And as more people get sick and they're not allowed to go to the factories, to the mills, to various parts of industry, we have a slowdown in items we need to build homes, to repair homes. Prices go up again, and that's not a good thing. And our economy starts going sour, and then prices may begin to fall. Now, for people who want to buy and prices are falling, that's a good thing. But not if you paid $100,000 over the appraisal price and or the asking price of the house, and you're having financial difficulties. In the real estate industry, we always have to be positive, and you try to make lemonade out of lemons. And there's somebody out there goes, oh, how great the market is. People are getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 above the asking price. They're getting guarantees that if the house doesn't appraise that much, the buyer will make up the difference. People are foregoing home inspections because they don't want to have any stumbling blocks in order to buy the home. And these are not good things. It's a good thing if you're a seller, okay? In the long run, it's not good for the economy, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. All right. So we need to get this market back to normalcy. We really do. All right. So I say this every week, but do your best. If you haven't been vaccinated, I think you should. And if you're not, you have to wear that mask, and you got to wash your hands and keep a social distance. All right. Just to break it up a little bit, let me. I actually loaded 2 videos. One is because we're talking about young people buying, and first is going to be a video on, are you tired of renting? And let's take a look at that right now. All right, so rents are going up as well, but the difference between that is that the mortgage rates are so low right now that you will probably, and we actually did a podcast on this a week or 2 ago. If you take a 3-bedroom, 2 full baths house, and you look at the mortgage of that, all right, and then you take a rental, your rental for that same house, the monthly payment in most situations will be higher, maybe higher by $300 to $600, as opposed to the mortgage on that house. So that's what you have to take into consideration. All right, because you probably will pay less in the mortgage than your rental payment. Now, when you buy a house, you need money for a down payment. You need money for closing costs. So there's money that you have to save up and use it. There are programs out there. If you're a first-time home buyer, there's a good chance that you could get 100% financing through the VHDA program. If you are active military or a veteran, you most likely will have a VA loan. You're eligible for a VA loan, and you get 100% financing with that as well. So you don't have to worry about down payment. You just have to worry about the closing costs. Okay? So, but after that's done, you know, your payments, your mortgage payment will be lower in most situations than your rental payment. I was thinking for a minute, it's like our church right now has to get a new air conditioning unit for the chapel. All right. And we talked about trying to fix the old one, but it's using an old type of gas that they don't make anymore, and they stockpile it, and the price of that is high. So the initial cost of putting in the new air conditioning, right, it's going to be big, but our monthly payments for heat and cooling will be less. So over the time, right, being the savings will then recoup the cost of that payment for the new HVAC system. So what I'm saying is, when you buy a house, you might have to spend $9,000-$10,000 between down payments and closing costs. All right. But in the long run, your monthly payment will be lower, and then you'll start recouping. So if you're able to do it, you should. You have to make sure your credit is in order. And if you call me, I will put you together with the best mortgage loan officers in Hampton Roads. And they will do a pre-qualification over the phone, and it won't cost you anything. And we need that letter when we put an offer on the house. Okay. So that's what's needed. And if you're not able to be pre-qualified at that moment, they will make recommendations on how to raise your credit. It's not a scam. It's not saying, oh yeah, we're going to raise some. No, but what lines of credits to pay down and by how much. And they have a software program that says, all right, if you pay your Citibank MasterCard down by $3,000, that'll raise your credit score another 20 points, and then you'll be able to be qualified. All right. So it's a good idea to purchase if you're able, especially if you're renting. All right. Now, the other one I want to show, because I'm telling you how the market is cooling down, so I'm going to back it up with a video. And let's show that. It's only a couple of minutes, but it'll reinforce or recap what I talked about today. And then it ends with a nice little photo of me. Those are made for me. I make a lot of my own videos. If you know me through Facebook. I would have slowed down that going through the house. It was really fast, and reading, and and just going flying through the different rooms got me a little dizzy. I might send them an email, say, can we slow down the video in the background? But anyway, it's sort of like recapped what I discussed today. All right, so I think I'm getting see my props. I'm getting a message from my producer, William Burgess. William, you said we have a special celebrity in the audience.
Chris, I have great news. We have a special guest in the audience. Born in Imperial Russia, this celebrity arrived in the United States at the age of 5 and later on became an American composer and lyricist, widely considered one of the greatest songwriters in American history. His music forms a great part of the Great American Songbook. His hits include Alexander's Ragtime Band, Easter Parade, Cheek to Cheek, and of course, White Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Irving Berlin.
Wow. That's a great honor to have Irving Berlin in the audience. I mean, White Christmas. Who does not know or sing White Christmas during Christmas time? And he must be about 140 years old right now. So God bless him. Thanks, Irving. Oh, Mr. Berlin, for stopping by. So, and to my audience, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Be safe, be well. If you haven't been vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you haven't yet, wear a mask. All right. Be kind to each other. And remember, the greatest power we have is the love, and the greatest gift is each other. All right. See you next week.